Greetings, all you huntsmen and huntswomen out there. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm back with another episode review of Rwby. It's Volume 7's Episode 5 titled Sparks, as we open up with our heroes, Team Rwby, being awakened by a bombastic Penny, telling them to get ready for their duties as huntswomen, much to the dismay of almost everyone except Rwby herself, who's all too excited to actually get on the job. So we see them in one of their first mission briefings, doing transports to take supplies to the Amity Coliseum, dealing with any Grim that would try to attack any of their works or projects and stuff, making it so that supply lines and this and that and the other can actually get there to work on the Amity Coliseum. Unfortunately, because of all these supplies being sent directly to the Colosseum, namely dust and the like, and fortifications, that means that there's less supplies to the outer walls to protect the people of Mantle from Grim. So that's creating a bit of unrest. We also have a bit of a moment where Marrow, talks to Yang and Blake about the fact that they always seem to work together and questions why they don't branch out a little bit more. Naturally, this gains their ire as, you know, with a lot of the things that they've been through together, they've been sticking a lot more closely together than ever before. So he doesn't really understand the history behind why they've started to grow so close. We also see Jean during his crossing guard duties, which has actually gained him a bit of a following of, and I've found this be dubbed the Thirsty Moms. Uh, but we also see that during their downtime, Rwby and Yang head out and, basically hunt Grim, do their huntsman thing. We also see that Weiss has been training with Winter on her semblance and her abilities. And in an effort to draw out Ozpin, Oscar has been training with Ironwood. And that's not the only training going on. John is training with Vine, who tells him maybe he should try increasing his aura or expanding it a little bit, which, we know that John has struggled struggled with in the past. Um, we also see Ren going toe to toe with Elm, and we see that Rwby as well as Weiss have been training with Harriet, trying to gain some control over Ruby's speed and all that good stuff. But they're actually starting to become pretty good comrades with all the members of the Ace Operatives. Unfortunately, this is also kind of taking the toll on everyone because it's a lot of work. They're doing a lot, and it really is starting to wear on them for the most part. We also get to see Team Junior. Yeah, still feel weird about calling them that. Who have teamed up with Oscar to go up against Team Finnick, which is actually kind of interesting. We haven't seen them since the fall of Beacon, namely the two members, Neon and what was the other guy's name? Flint. Neon and Flint were primarily the ones that we saw previously, but we're getting to see their other members, Cole, no, Cobalt and Ivory. There we go. Which, just based off colors, but when would that? It wouldn't be the first time. So and they have a actually pretty interesting sparring session. It was very nice to see them, especially Neon and her fact that she's essentially Nyan Cat, and a nice little throwback to that old meme. But they have a nice sparring session. Flint invites them out to get something to eat, but unfortunately, huntsman duty calls. So the huntsman duties are really starting to wear on any kind of downtime they could really have. But that comes with the territory. They're on a mission. There's not much else they can really do in terms of this. And while Rwby is kind of worn on because of the long trips out to the tundra, because they can't take any of the equipment through planes and airships because of the nature of how heavy it is. We have a nice little heart to heart with Rwby and Penny about the fact that Penny isn't really able to have friends for the most part. Ever since the fall of Beacon and the fact that she is being dubbed the protector of Mantle, it's really kind of put her on the outs in a lot of situation in terms of actually growing as a person. So having Rwby around has been the most beneficial thing for her, which is why she's probably more excited than usual. We also have this nice little moment with Crow and Clover where they talk about the fact that, Crow is a role model. He's been doing his best in order to help raise the kids up, and he shouldn't undervalue himself as a person in any way. Because, Clover notes that he kind of keeps rejecting any kind of compliments towards himself, deflect them all away, or being down on himself genuinely. And it's actually pretty nice to just see someone being so genuinely kind to Crow, which makes you wonder if something's going to happen to Clover, but, at the same time, it's positive reinforcement. It makes you wonder who's got the more powerful luck, Crow's bad luck or Clover's good luck. But unfortunately, this meeting of the two people trying to just be friends with each other um, ends up falling short or coming to a short conclusion as we see that Robin Hill has barricaded the way to the Schnee Dust Mine as she comes out to Clover and wants to know what is going on with these shipments. They're valuable and they should be shipped to the outer walls of Mantle to help fortify them from grim attacks. However, Clover does his best to deflect all of these questions, as it's not really in her best interest to know right now. They're trying to keep things under wraps as best they can until they're able to get the word out altogether. But, Robin isn't taking no for an answer. She tries to get the answer out of Rwby and Crow, but, Clover is very determined not to give her any information on the classified mission that they're on. You know, and he keeps telling her, if you want to know anything, if you want to change anything, anything you want to do in terms of this situation should be done through the proper channels since you're running for councilwoman. And, ultimately Penny comes out because Robin had two masked and just hidden members of her team coming up from the rear, cloaked and invisible. But, ultimately, Robin kind of calls out Penny on this, as she's supposed to be the protector of Mantle. It really begs the question what she's doing here, not protecting Mantle for the most part. But she calls off her forces as Penny pleads with her not to make her do anything that they'll both end up regretting. So Robin lets them pass. But she isn't satisfied with any of this. She is determined to find out what Ironwood is up to. Meanwhile, the sparring session between Winter and Weiss rages on, and ultimately, while Weiss doesn't come out victorious, Winter is actually very impressed with the skills that Weiss has obtained. She's grown as a person overall, so she's starting to kind of recognize this. And, Winter actually invites Weiss over into being fully a member of Ironwood's team. However, Weiss isn't quite so sure about this. She's grown too distrustful of a lot of people, up until this point. She feels that everyone seems to have an agenda with everything going on in Mantle. She's questioning a lot of this. Yes, she understands what they need to do, but the way they're going about it, it's affecting a lot of people in a negative way, and she's not really feeling it. So Winter brings Weiss over to see the Winter Maiden And, it's becomes very obvious, through their interaction that Winter is planning on becoming the next Winter Maiden. that's oof, that's unfortunate naming convention right there. But well, it's also clear that Ironwood was grooming Winter to take that role. Winter says that at first, while she wasn't quite satisfied with that, she wasn't happy that she was basically being bred by another man to take on another role she wasn't originally interested in. She found that she wanted to accept this. She found purpose in it. She found meaning in it. She wanted to make it her own. And she feels that wife should do the same. Make the best of what she's been given. Find her own path and find her own meaning in, what she's trying to do in her life, basically. Unfortunately, this is interrupted by a broadcast from their father Jacques, as he makes it known that, as he's running for councilman, he doesn't agree with anything that Ironwood has been doing, and has found that it's been very dangerous and hurtful to a lot of people. And he makes the claim that it's hurt his company as well, where he shut down any non-essential SHNE facilities, putting a lot of people out of work. And naturally, Winter realizes what this means. That with people already in such unrest, this has sparked a fire in people. People were already at the tipping point, but this has sent people over the edge, and riots start to break out all across Mantle. Oof. Oof, hard stuff, hard stuff. But I loved the training facility. How all you could have blocks that would appear and just, it's simple yet effective all at the same time. Very fascinating. But the training moments that went on here in here were really kind of cool. It was nice to see Neon show back up because she tries to her best to get under people's skin, and she had that little moment where Penny, where she was taunting the fact that Ren doesn't seem to be, very passionate except for battle, which considering that, Nora and Ren seem to be boyfriend and girlfriend, it really does raise the question of the relationship. So, that got kind of heated for the most part, but it was nice seeing, Flint's full team for the first time because, we only saw Flint and Neon, but now we get to see the rest of their team, and it's not like overly exposed or overly gaudy, I guess you could say, like Neon herself, but it was still nice. A nice little callback to the fact that they're supposed to be Atlas students. Um, Also, the heart to heart with Penny and Ruby, I feel like that's definitely going to go somewhere. Where, with everything going on, there might be some kind of divide later on. And with Penny, desperately wanting a friend, it really does beg the question of, should things go south with Ironwood, what side will Penny choose in the end? That's the question. And also Robin Hill, she's starting to become more bold about how she does things, and it just begs the question of how far will she take things, and would all of this be solved by just telling her what's going on? Would that ultimately create unnecessary unrest with her just letting the people know? Or would she ultimately feel that, doing all this is fruitless, it's pointless, it's, endangering people's lives? It really begs the question there. What's going to happen with this whole Robin Hill situation? But, a nice episode overall. I was glad to watch it. It helped move the plot along, and you also have the confrontation that Ramen Hill is really pointing out, hey, people in Mantle are hurting because of what you guys are doing. Are you sure it is the right path? And Ruby was kind of at a loss for words about it. She wants to let people know that what they're doing matters. There's a point behind all of it, but she really can't. Oh, that's definitely going to come to a head later, and I can't wait to see it. But Hey, tell me your feelings on this episode in the comments section below. Did you enjoy how Robin Hill was introduced? What did you feel about Penny's situation when she first mentioned it? The fact that she essentially can't have any friends. It really raises the question of, why is that? Is it just because she's been so dedicated to being the protector of Mantle that she hasn't had much time for anything else? And the revelation that Winter is being groomed to be the new Winter Maiden. Were you shocked by that revelation? Honestly, I kind of felt like that would probably be the case somewhere down the line. Honestly, I, back in the day, I thought she originally would have been the Winter Maiden, but having her be groomed for it, creates an interesting dynamic, especially with the, with what happened with the, well, was it the Summer or the Fall Maiden that Cinder gained the powers of? Also, where is Cinder? What is she up to? When are we going to encounter her next? Because I know she's disguised in an effort to infiltrate Atlas. When is that going to come to a head? Because she gained that airship not too long ago. So, when is she and Neo going to pop up? But so many questions, so little answers. Um, if you like this video, leave me a like. If you did, feel free to leave me a dislike. Subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you don't miss out on my continued reviews of Rwby Volume 7. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.